Oh, man, come on, get it. Hurry. Oh, damn, what is this? What is going on? Just go back. Yeah, that's more like it. This is the Short Sports Show with your host, Daniel Short. Oh, really? That's what I'm going to get? Welcome to the Short Sports Show. I'm your host, Daniel Short. Today is August 31st, 2016, and I am excited once again, and finally, it is college football season. It is here tomorrow night, Thursday. College football has arrived. Obviously, we had the Hawaii-Cal game in Australia, and that was, it was fun, it was cool. It was like a wake-up type of thing, but now it's here. Saturday is going to be jam-packed, of course, with amazing games. And, of course, I'm rooting for my TCU Horned Frogs all the way. We have the most dominant team, South Dakota State. Jeez, why are we still playing those teams? Anyways, we have a lot to talk about. Of course, we are going to do our college football predictions live on air. Raw is going to be amazing. We're going to get all of those done. Obviously, we're going to be talking about the sad injury to Teddy Bridgewater. Talking about where the Vikings go from here after looking at this season. They were a contender for the NFC, not only the NFC North, but the NFC Championship. And now where are they at? Or now they are a contender for a top 5 draft pick? Do they go after? No, not even going to go there. And then we're also going to talk a little bit about Colin Kaepernick, his next step. Or he's going to go with the 49ers. Obviously, he will be playing against the San Diego Chargers here in the last preseason game. So we'll talk about that as well. How are you guys doing? I'm doing great. I'm doing fantastic. My coaches at my high school, of course, as you guys know, I'm an intern at San Marcos High School. Coach Short, that is, yeah. But anyways, they've given me some tips, some advice, and I'm listening because I'm always looking to get better. I'm always looking for ways to improve the show. Which, before I get onto that, 2 things. One, I'm buying a brand new microphone. I'm very excited for that. It should be here late next week, so I might not have it for next week's show, but I will the following week. A brand new microphone, one of the best. I won't even say the name because most of y'all won't know it, but it's fine. It's chrome. I'll say that. It's all chrome looking. If you watch a lot of the ESPN talk shows, all of them use it. And I decided to say, hey, my show's just as good, so why not upgrade to the same quality? So that's what we're going to get. Also, I'm getting some more some sports decorations. I got my LaDainian Tomlinson signed jersey. I'm going to put that into a case, a frame that I have, and I'm going to hang that up here at Short Studios. I'm going to put that in the background. I got a poster, a TCU poster. I got a Seattle poster I want to put up here. I got a lot of cool things I'm introducing to the show. But they've been saying, how about you do a new segment, right? And it kind of would be a little bit different than what I'm doing. I usually keep the show clean, and I plan to keep it clean. But they thought about a new segment of just a good rant. I think we all need a rant sometimes. I think we all just need to just find something once a week and just rant. Just go on a good 5 minute, 2 to 3 minute rant on something or somebody. And so I think I'm going to introduce that next week. It's going to take some time to get some preparation for it, and I got to practice it for sure. I don't want to go, just write it all down and just boom, do it on air. So if there's any advice on some rant or the first person we should do a rant on, I got to think of a new title for it too. I'm willing to hear. You can email the show it's shortsportshow@gmail.com or tweet me at shortsportshow, and we'll get it in. It's gonna be exciting. What else we have to talk about? We just finished selling the Short Sports Show Purple Rain t-shirts. We sold a couple of those, so that's awesome. I forgot. I thought it was this Sunday that they were done selling, so I didn't even buy one. That's the one bad thing about Teespring, I don't even get a free shirt. I got to buy my own shirt. So I'm going to look elsewhere because I want to be able to get my own shirts and rock them here in studio. Is that it? I believe that's it. Let's go ahead and move on. First, let's go ahead and talk about InnerGrind. I'm going to be interviewing Michael Rakpo again next week. We're going to be talking about some things. Actually, next week's show, it's going to be lit. It's going to be lit, guys. We're going to have Matt Yustin. If you guys remember him, we did a NFL draft, mock draft. Got over 10,000 views on YouTube this past year. We're going to have him back on the show next week. We're going to be talking about we're going to be talking about an early draft board, also some of his predictions for this upcoming college football and NFL season. And we're going to also have Michael Rakpo next week. Again, the guy who sponsors this show. Sponsors the show with InnerGrind, his company. We're going to be talking about that as well. So whole lot of things to talk about this week and next week. Thank you guys so much. First, again, here's InnerGrind. Today's show is sponsored by InnerGrind. Based out of Houston, Texas, let former Texas State linebacker Michael Rakpo help you reach your fitness and nutrition goals. With personal training classes that start at $40 a session, why not be a part of this rising program? Now, whether your goals are to lose weight, gain muscle mass, find the right off-season program, or even for you ladies out there to get that booty blast, you can do it all with InnerGrind. Not in the Houston area, not a problem. InnerGrind has a program that is personalized just for you. InnerGrind has everything you need to meet your personal and healthy goals. NFL linebackers like Titans Brian Orakpo, Chiefs Derek Johnson, Buccaneers running back Charles Sims, and San Diego Chargers cornerback Craig Mager, along with many other young athletes, have already begun. Find your personalized workout and nutrition plan at InnerGrind.com and call 832-475-2829. That's InnerGrind.com, 832-475-2829. Unleash your inner grind. Hey guys, sorry to interrupt the show, but I want to say first off, thank you for all of your support. Without you, I'd just be some guy talking into a microphone. And I got some amazing news. I recently joined Patreon. And in case you're wondering, Patreon is an amazing way for you to earn some sweet rewards by supporting the Short Sports Show. I promise you, you will love the perks, and your support will help build this show. Go to www.patreon.com/theshortsportshow and view the amazing rewards you would get directly from me to you by donating to the show. The link is in the description, so when you have some time, check it out. And again, thank you for listening and supporting the Short Sports Show. Now back to me rambling on about something. Also, I have a new advertiser on the show. It'll start next week. I can't do it just yet because contract, but next week we'll have a new advertiser on the show, which is pretty nice. And the big news I was going to say, I tweeted a couple days ago, saying, hey, we have some big news for the Short Sports Show. And it is. If you are in the Central Texas area, a.k.a. Austin, San Marcos, of course, maybe San Antonio if you're willing to make the drive, I am hiring a new host to a new show. It's a new show. It'll also be kind of like a segment to the Short Sports Show. It's called Hoopers. With my contract with the NBA, I have to be making a new show. And it's got to be all NBA. It's got to be all basketball. And I wanted to get someone, fresh. Because I already have Fourth and Short, which my bad last week for not getting it up there. Some personal issues came up. That's my fault. I got to step up my game. That's my fault for not having Fourth and Short. We'll have it up this week. I already have Fourth and Short. I have the Short Sports Show. I have school. And I got coaching. But I also have to get an NBA show in there. So I'm looking for someone that I will hire. And is going to be, I will still be the producer, the editor, the writer for the show of Hoopers. I just want someone else kind of just be the face of it. So it'll be a YouTube exclusive. You can email basically your resume and your experiences. You don't even have to have any experience. Just say you want to get up there. At shortsportshow@gmail.com. Be sure to share it out in case you know anybody that's interested. You just got to be able to make the commute to San Marcos, Texas, because it'll be here in Short Studios, and I don't got some big facility. I ain't big time yet, but that's the big news. I'm excited about it. And also the people I'm only hiring one person. I'm not rich. I ain't big time. I can't hire multiple people. But we'll be able to travel to some NBA games, do interviews with coaches and players. And again, when I say travel to NBA games, most likely San Antonio Spurs. We're not going to be, again, that big time. Maybe they're still working out with Broadband TV. That is who I'm partnered with. And the NBA, they're still working out some kinks within the contract. We might be able to travel to some of the bigger games, like when Cleveland and the Warriors play. I wouldn't hold my breath for it, but they did say there is an opportunity, or that there is a chance. So that's some of the things that will happen. So I'm excited for. And again, it's all because of you guys listening to the show. And I'm sure you guys want to get onto the show because we're already 8 minutes in. We got to get started. Here we go. College football news first. And as Florida wide receiver Antonio Callaway has been cleared to play in the Gator season opener against UMass. Now, this guy's been getting in trouble like crazy this past offseason and even into last season. But head coach Jim McElwain said he's good now. He's good. So earlier this month, an independent hearing officer found Callaway, quote, not responsible for sexually assaulting a female student. Now, he was accused in December, and the ruling made in Jacksonville, he was cleared of 3 violations of the Florida Student Conduct Code, and is now cleared to go. Last season, as a freshman, he caught 35 catches for 678 yards and 4 touchdowns. He also returned 2 punts for a touchdown. Now, we've been seeing in college football a lot of teams now naming their starting quarterback, other than 2 big schools that haven't, and that's Texas and Alabama. Actually, I don't even know if Michigan has announced their starting quarterback. But Texas has been in a weird situation because they really haven't had a quarterback since, well, Colt McCoy. Texas head coach Charlie Strong on Monday declined to say who will start at quarterback when the Longhorns face number 10 Notre Dame this Sunday in the 2016 season opener. And I don't know. I just got a feeling, just rereading this right now, I have a feeling right after this show he's probably going to announce it. But we do know it's either the freshman, the main guy, Shane, or it's senior quarterback Tyrone Swoops. And a lot of fans I've talked to, a lot of Texas fans, are really worried. They don't want it to be Tyrone Swoops, even though he's a senior. They really just want to give it to Shane. And, I mean, there's a good argument for that, but it's a very critical decision for Charlie Strong. He's entering his 3rd year, and he's 11-14 in 2 seasons. Now, I still have hope for Charlie Strong. Because like I said, when Charlie Strong was hired at Texas, I was afraid. Because I know Charlie Strong can turn this program around. I know he can. It's the University of Texas. They're always going to get recruits. Look at Malik Jackson. He's going to be an absolute stud. And in 2 years from now, at the end of his junior season, he'll most likely enter the NFL draft and be a top 10 pick. He's just an absolute stud. So they're still getting some elite talent. It's just they kind of have a bad culture around the team right now that they're trying to clean up. And it takes some time. But when you got the boosters that are old school and are impatient, they really want him to end up winning 10 games. That should be the average right now. I don't believe this year Texas is going to win 8 or more games. I think 7 wins is a really good shot. And I know a lot of the media is saying, oh, watch out for Texas. They say it every year, and as soon as they do bad, boom, they're right on the opposite side of it. They're just like, oh, yeah, Texas is garbage. Oh, I just remember back in August, you guys were saying, hey, watch out. They might shock the world and win the Big 12. And now they're just garbage after a couple weeks. I mean, I'm just on the side that 5 to 7 wins is probably what they'll get. And I think next year, that's the year where they should break out 8, 9, 10 wins. Next season. The defense will be older, and they'll have, most likely, Shane have learned his lessons. Georgia running back Nick Chubb has been cleared to play in the Bulldogs season opener against North Carolina this Saturday. Now, Chubb has been ahead of his rehab schedule the entire process since he damaged several knee ligaments in a very upsetting way when he carried the ball against Tennessee back in October. Now the junior, he has rushed for 2,294 yards, 21 touchdowns in less than 2 full seasons of work, and is looking to come back from that horrific knee injury. So hopefully he can get it all going again, because Nick Chubb is very dominant running back. He averaged, check this out, 8.1 yards a carry last season, and had a string of 13 straight 100-yard rushing games before his injury. 8.1 yards per carry on top of 13 straight 100-yard rushing games. It might take him a while to get back to that, but he's doing a good job so far. Ohio State wide receiver has suspended their one of their receivers. I'm not going to say top receiver. Torrance Gibson. He's been suspended for the entire season due to a violation of the school's student conduct. Now, punishment that Urban Meyer, this wasn't on Urban Meyer. He absolutely disagrees with this punishment. He said, quote, it was not from the athletic department or football, and I disagree with it, end quote. Now, he didn't provide any details of what transpired or what, if anything, could be done about the opposition to this discipline. And Ohio State is not commented on the name of the violation. But Gibson was he was a top-rated quarterback. And he said, I'm still going to Ohio State even with all those quarterback issues, or not issues, but the top, a lot of quarterbacks there. He said, I'm still going to go. They switched him to wide receiver, and nothing's happened yet. And now suspended for the entire 2016 season. A guy that should be suspended for a lot more games is not. And that's Baylor Bears wide receiver Ishmael Zamora. Now, you might have just heard about him. He was just suspended 3 games after a video emerged of the wide receiver whipping and kicking his own dog. Now, in addition to the misdemeanor citation and a fine he's already received, Baylor announced Zamora must perform 40 hours of community service, quote, in a manner that will teach him kindness and respect toward animals, end quote. He must undergo counseling and relinquish his dog to an animal-friendly home, and apparently he's already sent the dog home to live with relatives in Houston after the incident. And I know you're thinking, 3 games? That should be solid. Most people think on the outside. And again, I'm not hating on Baylor here. But 3 games? 3, and on top of this, 3 meaningless games. You know who they're playing in those 3 games? Nobody. Northwestern State, Rice, and some other small FCS school. You think Baylor really needs that? They still have talent. Granted, they lost a lot. That was just incoming talent that they lost. And a couple of players that were on the team that they lost. I mean, they still have Seth Russell, KD Cannon. They're still going to be pretty good. And just 3 games. Now, there's already, and I'm not the only one who feels this way, and now I don't mean to get him kicked off the team, but there was an online petition demanding Zamora to be kicked off the team that drew more than 170,000 supporters. Ouch. And only 3 games. I would think 5. 5 games. He was whipping and kicking his dog. Where do I have it at? He had a belt. He was hitting the dog 8 times with a belt. Now, I didn't see the video. I don't want to see the video. So I don't know what the size of the dog was. I don't know what dog, but either way, this guy, probably a good 180, 190, grabs a belt and whips his dog 8 times. Yeah, and you're only suspended for 3 games. Now really think about it. Really think about it then. And he was listed as a starter on Baylor's depth chart that was just released Monday. He'll return against for the Baylor's Big 12 opener against Oklahoma State, and he'll be able to continue to practice with the team as long as he meets his previous of his sanctions. We do have some good news, though. We do have some good news. There is good people in this world. And it's happening in Florida State. At Montford Middle School in Tallahassee, Florida, Bo Paskey is an autistic student that was sitting alone at lunch and apparently by his mother's Facebook post, he sometimes he sits alone a lot of the times. And maybe sometimes every now and then a classmate will sit with him. That's really, usually just he's by himself. Well, Florida State their football team happened to be visiting that middle school. And wide receiver Travis Rudolph, he took notice. He saw he was sitting by himself. So you know what he did? Grabbed a piece of pizza and sat down with the kid and talked to him rather than lunch period. Quote, this is what Travis Rudolph said, quote, "I was just a kid not too long ago, and I remember what the impact was of guys that played in college and in the NFL coming back to us. So I feel like maybe I can change someone's life, or I can make someone a better person, or make someone want to be great or be like me, or even better," end quote. And there's a whole, I'll put the link in the description so you can see the mother's Facebook post on it. She took a picture, or someone had taken a picture of it. And that was just a really nice thing. Travis Rudolph, and it's not like Travis Rudolph is a junior or senior. He's a sophomore. He's going to be a sophomore this season. And to be able to sit down, talk to the kid, and not do it for publicity because, it's not like he needed. Just saw the kid and decided to eat and sit and talk with him. So there is good people in this world. For all the bad stuff that we've been seeing the past couple of weeks, there is some good people. And, thank you for Travis Rudolph for doing that, because that's obviously very nice. And apparently he was the only Florida State player, too, because there's no one else that sat with him. So good thing by Travis Rudolph to do that. That's it for college football news, but it is time, ladies and gentlemen. It is time for predictions. We're only going to be doing the top 25 games. That's how we always do it. And just a quick reminder, for people that have been listening to the show for a while, special shout out to you guys. We have, usually during football season, we have a Monday show and a Friday show. Friday show was our preview for that upcoming week of college football and the NFL, talking about the games, same thing with the news and stuff like that, and we do our predictions. And then Monday we come back, discuss what happened throughout the weekend, and then, just recap some of those games. Now, because of time constraints and a busier schedule, and also it just everything works out, we're going to continue just to have the show on Wednesdays. Wednesdays are the best days for me, and it's been working out. A lot of people have enjoyed the Wednesday show, and it's much simpler just to put everything in Wednesday's show and still put out a great product without jam-packing everything. So thank you guys so much for the support on that, and appreciating being able to just keep it on Wednesdays. So let's go ahead. And I'm doing this raw. I just typed in those games. I put in the line in case for people that are interested. This is the ESPN line. And I put what channel it's going to be on and what time, Central Time, it's going to be. And that's it. I didn't make any predictions yet. Now, there's some that I've already have, like the USC-Alabama game, which, I'm sorry, USC fans, I wouldn't even bother watching the game. But for you other fans, like Charlotte versus Louisville, let's go. Let's go and get it. All right, of course, Thursday night, tomorrow night, we have opening kickoff. Again, this is top 25 games. So if there's any games before then, I'm sorry. Don't matter. Charlotte versus number 19, Louisville. Now, Louisville is a 39.5-point favorite. It'll be on ESPN 3 or watch ESPN, whichever one, at 6 p.m. Central Time. And I am going to rock with Louisville, of course. Now, I don't pick the line or anything like that. I'm just letting people know what the line is in case that's what you do. If you're going to gamble on it or whatnot, there you go. But I'm just straight up just picking the team. So Louisville has got it, and they'll probably beat them by over 40. Well, I don't know. Charlotte might give a little bit of run. I think Charlotte's an FBS school now, so they might want to make a little bit of noise. Then after that, we have Appalachian State at number 9 Tennessee, and I'm picking Tennessee here. I think it's gonna be a little bit closer. Tennessee is a 20.5-point favorite. Appalachian State, I mean, their move from FCS to FBS, it's been remarkable. First season bowl game and a win, and a comeback victory, I believe against Ohio, and have posted 7 or more wins the past couple seasons in the FBS, all FBS schedule. So I think Appalachian State's going to be up here close, and they've been prepared. I'm not saying they win, but I'm saying it's going to be a little bit closer. It'll be on SEC Network at 6:30 p.m. Central Time. Moving on to Friday. Not the best of games until the Kansas State-Stanford game, but first we have Furman against number 12 Michigan State. That'll be on the Big Ten Network. Some of these games didn't even have a line, so I'm guessing it was just going to be like a 60-point favorite. I don't really know how that works, but some of these games don't have a line. Majority of them do. This one didn't, but it doesn't matter. Michigan State will win this game. Then after that, we have Northwestern State against number 23 Baylor at 6:30 p.m. Central Time. Of course, going to be Baylor. Kansas State at number 8 Stanford. This is going to be a really good game. I have it set, not on my DVR, but it's I got it recorded through my computer, which is pretty cool. So I got that set because obviously I'm going to miss the game, but it's going to be a really good one. Kansas State, you can never knock them down. Yeah, Bill Snyder is an absolute wizard. He knows what he's going to do. It doesn't matter what team he has. They're always disciplined. And a disciplined team usually is a really good team. So Kansas State, and then you have 8 Stanford, new quarterback, obviously Christian McCaffrey. Guys, watch Christian McCaffrey. Watch him. I don't know why there's so much hate on him. He's very good. Stanford is a 15.5-point favorite. This game will be on Fox Sports 1 or on the watch Fox Sports or watch the Fox Sports Go, something like that. You get internet streaming, type in your cable provider and watch it from there if you want to stream on your phone app. Same thing like watch ESPN, guys. It'll be on 8 p.m. Central Time on Fox Sports 1. I'm taking Stanford here, but I'm saying a close game. I'm saying a 17-24 game. Stanford wins. Very close. Maybe even lower than it. It might be a 9-14 type of game. Because K-State should have a pretty solid defense this year. Then let's move on to Saturday where we have a jam-packed. Woo! I'm excited. Saturday, I know I have back-to-back games tomorrow and Friday night. But I'm waking up early. I'm watching College Game Day. Ooh, just thinking about it. I love it. I love it. Watching College Game Day. Obviously, I got to go back to the high school, break down some film, make some highlights. But best believe I'm going to be listening to it. I have to. And then, get my work done so that way I can come back home and watch some more college football. Start off with Hawaii, who has already got beat badly by Cal. Gave up, 636 yards of offense against Cal, and a chunk of it was rushing yards. They're going to go against a pretty good rushing team. And number 7, Michigan, Michigan is a 40.5-point favorite. This game is on ESPN at 11 a.m. Central Time. I'm taking Michigan here, not even thinking about it. Bowling Green versus number 6 Ohio State. Ohio State is a 28-point favorite on the Big Ten Network at 11 a.m. Central Time. Taking Ohio State here. And then we have a pretty good one. A pretty good one. Number 3 Oklahoma taking on number 15 and probably feeling very disrespected Houston Cougars team. Now, Oklahoma is a 3-point favorite. This game is on ABC or ESPN, depending on your regional status. And it is at 11 a.m. Central Time. And you best believe Houston's going to be coming out to play. And I'm taking Houston here. I am taking Houston here all the way. Now, I'm not saying it's a blowout, of course. It's going to be a close game. I think it's going to come down to, honestly, this game's really coming down to special teams. Everybody's talking about Greg Ward and this Houston offense with Tom Herman, and then talking about Baker Mayfield, Samaje Perine, the Oklahoma offensive line, and some of the playmakers that Oklahoma has as receivers. Same thing for Houston, playmakers at receivers. Everybody's talking about these offenses. Sometimes you'll hear a little bit about the defense, saying Oklahoma should have a better defense, and Houston loses a lot. But this game is truly coming down to special teams. And here's why. And before you think I'm crazy, before you turn off this show and just delete me, wait a minute. Hold on. Let me explain myself. The team that, because we're going to have some punts here. We're going to have probably a ton of 3 and outs. The team that is backed up the most, that has to go the most yardage, that team's probably going to struggle the most. So the team that can back them up the most, those Houston punters, those Oklahoma punters, it's going to come down to them. It's going to come down to them. Because obviously we both know these teams can score on each other. And it's probably going to be a 38-42 type of ball game. But the team that can back them up the most and miss and with the longer field that they have to go, it's going to win this game. It's going to win this game. I think Houston pulls it out. Again, I'm going with a 38-42 type victory. And I'm going to go with the Houston Cougs to upset the Oklahoma Sooners. And Oklahoma, damn, they really didn't think about the schedule, did they? They got Houston, and then they have Ohio State. Now, of course, when they make these schedules, you know how they do. When right now there's team scheduling for 2021. We don't know who's going to be good then. For all we know, Texas State could be a top team in the nation. Doubt it, but I'm just saying. But they got Houston. They already have a tough Big 12 schedule, and then you got Ohio State. Same season. If this Houston team goes undefeated, this Oklahoma team, they're going to be pretty solid. Then we have Rutgers and Washington, number 14, UW Huskies. You know I'm rocking with my UW. I bleed purple. UW Huskies, 26-point favorite on the Pac-12 network at 1 p.m. Central Time, going with the UW Huskies. Then there's Southeastern Louisiana, taking on number 21, Oklahoma State at 2:30 p.m. Central Time, going with Oklahoma State. Miami of Ohio taking on number 17, Iowa. Iowa's a 27.5-point favorite on ESPNU at 2:30 p.m. Central Time. Going with Iowa here. Then we have number 16, UCLA taking on Texas A&M. And shockingly, Texas A&M is a 3-point favorite. This game is on CBS at 2:30 p.m. I am taking UCLA all the way. I think UCLA, I know it's at Kyle Field. And I know Josh Rosen, he made some comments that might make, A&M a little bit louder. And Kyle Field Stadium might be a little bit louder. But I'm taking UCLA here. Josh Rosen, this UCLA team, it's definitely much more disciplined than A&M. That's for sure. Christian Kirk is obviously going to make some plays that keeps A&M in this game. But I'm taking UCLA a 34-17 victory. Yes, sir. You heard it here first. UCLA gets a dub. Then number 5, LSU taking on Wisconsin in Green Bay. The Packers Stadium at Lambeau Field. LSU is a 10-point favorite. This game is on ABC at 2:30 p.m. Central Time. And I'm taking LSU here. I think LSU is just going to power the ball. Leonard Fournette's just an absolute beast. He starts his Heisman campaign at 2:30 p.m. And I'm taking LSU here. UC Davis taking on Oregon on the Pac-12 network at 4 p.m. Central Time. Of course, Oregon will win that game. Number 18, Georgia taking on number 22, North Carolina. And I think North Carolina just loses too much. I know I love their wide receiver. Of course, his name slips my mind right now. Number 3, slot receiver, Minnie Wes Welker. I'll think about it later. Georgia's a 3-point favorite. This game is on ESPN at 4:30 p.m. Central Time. I am taking Georgia here to get the W. UMass at Florida. Let's go Florida. USC, number 20 USC somehow, taking on number 1 Alabama. Alabama is a 10.5-point favorite, and it's on ABC at 7 p.m. Central Time, and I am taking Alabama. I think Alabama just runs away with this game. I know they're losing a new quarterback, a new running back, but I think they're going to be fine. I think they absolutely steamroll USC. I'm going to go a little bit lower score. I'm going to say 30-10, maybe 30-7 type of game. Then the most anticipated matchup of the night, South Dakota State taking on number 13 TCU. Yeah, very anticipated. Of course, I don't think I could watch the game. I don't think it's on anything, so I have to just listen to the game that night. But of course, I'm going to rock with my TCU Horned Frogs all the way. Kenny Hill, new starting quarterback. I'm excited. That game is at 7 p.m. Central Time. Taking TCU, of course. Then finally, to wrap up the night, you have number 2 Clemson and Deshaun Watson taking on Auburn. Clemson is a 7.5-point favorite. This game's on ESPN at 8 p.m. Central Time. I am taking Clemson all the way, a 42-21 dismantle of Auburn. Taking Clemson. Then on Sunday night, we have number 10 Notre Dame taking on Texas. Notre Dame is a 3.5-point favorite on ABC at 6:30 p.m. Central Time. I am taking Notre Dame here. Let's go ahead and make it a 33-17 game. Notre Dame 33-17, somewhere around there, maybe 33-21. Then Monday night, we have Monday Night Football for college football, and that is number 11 Ole Miss taking on number 4 Florida State. Now, Florida State is a 4.5-point favorite. This game is on ESPN at 7 p.m. Central Time, and guess what? Taking Ole Miss here. I think Ole Miss handles Florida State with a new, Florida State putting in Francois at quarterback. It's a little shaky. Dalvin Cook is going to try to do as much as possible to keep him in the game. I think Ole Miss just coming off of a pretty good bowl game last season, still being looked at as underrated. I think Chad Kelly does a good enough job. Get this W against Florida State. I'm going to say a 28-14 game going with Ole Miss to get the victory. That is my predictions. I'm going to keep a track record of them so that way we can keep them. Let me know your predictions. You could just put all your predictions down, just who wins, and then tweet it at me at Short Sports Show. Email the show at shortsportshow@gmail.com. And let's move on to the NFL. Hey guys, sorry to interrupt the show, but I want to say first off, thank you for all of your support. Without you, I'd just be some guy talking to a microphone. And I got some amazing news. I recently joined Patreon. And in case you're wondering, Patreon is an amazing way for you to earn some sweet rewards by supporting the Short Sports Show. I promise you, you will love the perks, and your support will help build this show. Go to www.patreon.com/theshortsportshow and view the amazing rewards you would get directly from me to you by donating to the show. The link is in the description, so when you have some time, check it out. And again, thank you for listening and supporting the Short Sports Show. Now back to me rambling on about something. Now as we move on to the NFL, Ezekiel Elliott is now understanding what it's going to be like with the NFL. Now he was already, watched that at Ohio State, had cameras all around it. But now he's really going to have cameras all around him as he's looked at as Cowboys' number 1 running back, and given the Cowboys situation right now and just playing for the Dallas Cowboys, he's going to have a lot of media around him. And he might have made a small little mistake. A few hours before the Cowboys played Seattle on Thursday, Elliott visited a store that sold marijuana. Now, again, remember, it's legal in the state of Washington to sell marijuana. And he went into to the store and said he was just curious. This is what he had to say.
It was a bad decision, you know what I mean? Just seen it walking around, was curious. Didn't really think about it before I went there what the repercussions could have been. And, it wasn't like I was trying to hide or anything. I took pictures with people. Like, it wasn't like I was up to no good. So, I just was curious. I didn't think I was doing anything wrong. I wasn't breaking any laws or anything. So, this is a bad decision, something I shouldn't have done, but I know now.
Now, owner Jerry Jones and head coach Jason Garrett criticized Elliott for visiting the store. Quote, "I don't think it was a good decision. He and I talked about it. It was a poor decision on his part, and young players sometimes just have to understand the perception can be reality. You have to understand you're under a microscope 24 hours a day, and there's no good reason for him to go into a place like that," end quote. That's what Jason Garrett said on Saturday. He said he was curious, and I get it. I can see that part of him just being curious about it. But at the same time, you got to understand who's around you and who you are, or you're going to end up in trouble like that. But looks like he's going to be clear. He's going to be fine. Dallas Cowboys, worry about the Giants right now. Now, the Washington Redskins, they signed defensive lineman Colin Jenkins. The team announced on Monday. Signed a 1-year contract with the team. He's entering his 13th season as he has played for Green Bay, Philadelphia, and the New York Giants, where he started 39 games in the last 3 seasons. He also has 47.5 sacks, career sacks. Not bad. Not bad at all. The Arizona Cardinals cornerback Mike Jenkins, he tore his ACL in Sunday night's third preseason game against the Houston Texans, and it's bad. They've been losing DBs like crazy, and there's not a whole lot of DBs out there right now. So they're going to have to deal with those losses right now. And let's see what else. Jenkins, think that was it. He was in the mix for the starting cornerback spot on the opposite side of Patrick Peterson, and obviously that is no longer. Now, as we all know, Denver Broncos have announced that Trevor Siemian will be the starting quarterback for the Denver Broncos against the Carolina Panthers. Woo! What a great game to start up in. Your first NFL start, Carolina Panthers, team that has a pretty good defense. It's all right. He's going to have to go against them. Now, he made the announcement just before players broke off into a position group meeting. Siemian, he closed the deal Saturday night, right? His performance in the Broncos preseason game, against the Los Angeles Rams. He finished 10 of 17, a $122, and a touchdown with also an interception. And Mark Sanchez he just lost the job, basically. He just lost the job. The job was his. It was his to basically lose, and that's exactly what happened. When they signed Mark Sanchez, when they got him, it was not for a backup role, a veteran role. It was for him to be the starting quarterback for the Denver Broncos while they get Paxton Lynch ready. Because there's no doubt about it. Paxton Lynch is the future quarterback for the Denver Broncos. There's no argument there. It doesn't matter how good Trevor Siemian does. Paxton Lynch is the guy most likely for next season. And he'll most likely get some playing time this season because can you really trust Trevor Siemian to be your starting quarterback for an entire 16-game schedule? Do you actually think you will repeat as Super Bowl champs, or even take you to the Super Bowl with Trevor Siemian? Everyone say, oh, well, Peyton Manning, he didn't have the greatest year. It wasn't the greatest passing year. First of all, that's still Peyton Manning. Or are we really about to compare Peyton Manning to Trevor Siemian and their passing game to say how weak it is? I don't think so. If that's what you want to do, please just get off the show. I don't want those type of listeners. I don't want that. So, Sanchez most likely gone. The Cowboys have and the Broncos have already talked. And Cowboys said, well, we like him. We'll take him. But we're not paying $4.5 million. We're not taking this contract. And no team really wants to do it. Now, the Vikings and their situation, which we'll get to here a little bit later in the show, they might have to. Because they understand that if Sanchez gets cut, which most likely will happen, then that means they're now going to have to bid against the Dallas Cowboys, and it's basically who wants them more. Who's going to want to pay more? And if it gets close to, if they think it's going to get close to that $4.5 million, then might as well we should just make a trade right now and just go ahead and pick them up. So Sanchez, he's a little bit lucky here because it looks like he's still going to find a spot on the team in the NFL roster because of an injury to both Tony Romo and Teddy Bridgewater. But the point of this is to talk about, is Trevor Siemian really ready to take the reins as a starting quarterback, not only just in the NFL, but for the Denver Broncos, who don't have expectations to just get through this season so they can get Paxton Lynch ready. They have expectations to repeat as Super Bowl champions. They have a Super Bowl defense. They believe they do. And people want to say, well, the passing game wasn't that good. Siemian he's just got to just not turn over the ball. And we'll get there. We'll get W's. Do you really have that good of a running game? Who knows? That's what I want to know. Tweet me at Short Sports Show. Also, if you're listening to the Short Sports Show on here, let me know in the comment section down below. Now, finally, the San Diego Chargers. As you guys might know, I'm a Chargers fan. Okay? When I picked them, I was just getting into football. LT was still playing. They were awesome. Now they're just garbage. And I've really seen, the thing is, I would love to switch teams. I really would. But then I'd be looked at as a bandwagoner. Because when you first get into football, you're not thinking about ownership. You're not thinking about the upper management guys, the GMs. You're just thinking about the players on the field and what they look like. That's it. And I wish I would have known about management and stuff like that because I really would have picked the Seattle Seahawks because my goal is to interview and actually really work for John Snyder. That is my dream. I want to just learn from him. Because they built a culture and a team that no one else would have thought of, and they've done a really good job in Seattle. And plus, I just love Seattle, Washington. That's just my place, right? So, with the San Diego Chargers, they're on the opposite spectrum here. Probably the worst ownership and how they handle business in football business and how they handle situations. Because once again, they've really screwed up the relationship with Joey Bosa. And it's going to take some time for them to fix this. And it's not going to, it's going to be awkward. I think it'll be an awkward relationship for the next 4 years. Joey Bosa could be the greatest defensive end the next 4 years. Could be better than J.J. Watt. Not saying it will, but I'm saying he could be. And it will always be an awkward relationship between the San Diego Chargers and Joey Bosa. No matter whose fault it was, it's just going to be bad. The damage is done. Now, after a month-long ordeal that ended on Monday, the San Diego Chargers rookie first-round selection Joey Bosa signed a 4-year deal with the team. He's already practiced yesterday. He's not going to play in the preseason game. The Chargers got an exemption. They're down to 75 players. They made their cuts, but Joey Bosa, they got an exemption, so they're technically at 76 players. I mean, it was just bad. It was very bad. Now, it's all been good. Bosa's salary is pegged around $26 million over the next 4 years with a $17 million signing bonus. Now, Chargers, traditionally, they've included offset language in contracts to protect the franchise from paying a player's full salary in the event San Diego releases a player during a guaranteed portion of his deal. Basically, think about Ryan Leaf, right? That whole ordeal happened. They cut him. They saved their money. And so you can't, I understand where the Chargers are coming from because you're like, at the same time, like, hey, Joey Bosa, if he just doesn't work out and he doesn't produce the way we think he will, which really is to any player or it's any rookie, especially that high of a pick, you want to help your franchise out by, hey, we're not going to pay you a guaranteed portion, right, the rest of the deal if you just suck, if you pull basically a Ryan Leaf, if you're just a bust. Because we need to prepare ourselves for it. And then you got to look at it as a player's perspective. And you don't know. Yeah, I mean, if you truly are just there for the money and just like, hey, I just want to get this money and I don't really care how I play, then, it'll come back to you. But if you're just one of those players, just face the unknown. You don't know. You're trying. It doesn't work out. You want to protect yourself to make sure you're okay and your family be okay. So I think, and also when you have the agents in there from both sides and egos, but the thing is, the way this hurts the Chargers, even if it was all on Bosa's side, it hurts the Chargers because this isn't the first time they've been in this situation. They had it with LaDainian Tomlinson. They had it with, that was the greatest player to ever play on the San Diego Chargers history. They screwed him pretty badly. You had Antonio Gates, their greatest tight end. Better than Kellen Winslow, who's in the Hall of Fame. They messed with his contract. Phillip Rivers, same thing. Sean Merriman, same thing. I can go on and on. Same thing. Now with Joey Bosa, and you do the same thing. Ownership's got to take responsibility here because they have played multiple situations very badly. Very, very badly. And I got to get on it. Now, the next topic we'll talk about, it's kind of controversial. And we won't, I like to get other people's opinions on it. I'll give a little bit of mine, but nothing too crazy. Now, out of nowhere, we all heard about Colin Kaepernick. He's sitting out the national anthem. People are with it or against it or don't care. And then we have out of nowhere a Philadelphia Eagles rookie linebacker, Mike Tavares. He's decided to join Colin Kaepernick in sitting out the national anthem. So the thing I find weird about this is that he says that he has nothing to gain or nothing to lose. Excuse me, nothing to lose out of this. And I'm thinking, yeah, you kind of do. I mean, you're undrafted rookie out of Incarnate Word, and he's really only looked at to make the team on special teams. And I get what they're doing. I get it. And the thing is, the way people are making comparisons out of this is, Kaepernick is doing this because he doesn't like what's happening in America, right? And I agree with his stance, which is funny. Stance, yeah. I agree with what he's doing. But if you look at other players and how they've dealt with the situation, you look at the NBA, how they did it. The T-shirts, the standing up, the ESPYs, they talked about it, and they gave a true speech. They gave something to it, right? And then Colin Kaepernick, he's just sitting down. Just sitting down for the national anthem. I agree with his stance. I don't agree in how he's going about it. I think if you were to just come out and just have a speech about it, have something about it, do something for an organization or whatever it might be, that would kind of say, because again, we're always looking. Fans, media, everyday individuals are always looking for someone they look up to, and especially to professional athletes, to say something about the troubles that happen in America, right? We always look, why isn't X players saying something about this? And are these players, why aren't they making a stand, right? Why are they robots, right? And then when someone does something, then it's boom, I get everything, right? They're all attacked. So I think he should have just gone about it a different way. Now, I don't know. It's just a weird situation. It's a weird situation. Now, his former teammate, Alex Boone, called the decision shameful. Falcons lineman Ben Garland, who was a captain on the Air National Guard, said that while the anthem means a lot to him, he and his friends, quote, fought for that freedom for Kaepernick to speak his mind. All right, freedom of speech, right? What we all believe, what we all say. I mean, in a way, that's what it is. 49ers teammate Torrey Smith said he related Kaepernick's message even if he didn't agree with the way he went about it. But it seems that if you don't agree with the way he went about it, then you're completely against the idea. You think he's wrong, you think he's in the wrong, and that it's all bad on Kaepernick. I don't believe so. I agree with the stance. I think he should have gone about it in a more professional way. A speech, something with an organization, whichever it might be, something along those lines other than really just kind of pouting and just sitting at a national anthem. And it's your country's national anthem, whether you agree with it or not. I mean, we're looking at a presidency will most likely have two of the most hated presidents. One of them's about to get elected. And just because you don't like that person, which I don't like either one, doesn't mean I'm just, national anthem, July 4th, I'm not going to celebrate those days. Screw that. I'm just going to sit down. No. So, Kaepernick should just go about this a different way. You look at Jim Brown, Muhammad Ali, all these guys that fought through something very intensely, but they did it about it the right way, giving right speeches and just doing things right. I'm trying to think of a specific example. It's not coming to my mind right now, but something along those lines other than just, it just looks wrong just sitting on the national anthem. And I was listening to a radio show. It was either Colin Cowherd or it was Colin Cowherd's show yesterday. And it was a caller called in, of course, and said, well, there's an American flag on the back of the helmet. And since he doesn't want to and he wasn't against him, he was asking a serious question. He wasn't attacking Kaepernick, but he said, since there's a flag on the back of the helmet, miniature flag, right on the back of the helmet, does that mean he won't put on the helmet and step on the field anymore? Because obviously you have to have a helmet to play on the field. To step on the field, you have to have the helmet on. He doesn't want to stand for the national anthem, so maybe he just won't play football, won't put that helmet on because it's got a flag on it. Pretty interesting. I think Kaepernick's stance, again, I agree with it. I believe more players should be along those same lines and speak out to tragedies that happen in our country, things that most people want to ignore, most people want to deny. I believe players, because of when you have not a foundation, but when you have people that look up to you, when you have a group, you've got to talk to them. You've got to be able to speak out for them and for these right issues. Let me know in the comment section down below. Tweet me at Short Sports Show. Let's see what else we got. We got a couple more news, and actually we got some NBA news we're going to talk about here. We're about 54 minutes. Obviously, Minnesota Vikings quarterback Teddy Bridgewater. Oh, man. This sucks. Not a Vikings fan. I like Teddy Bridgewater, though. Suffered a dislocated knee and a torn ACL when he went down during a non-contact drill at practice yesterday on Tuesday, ending his entire 2016 season. Apparently, Bridgewater dropped back to a pass during a drill and planted his foot and immediately went down. Trainers rushed to his side and began inflating an air cast, and the quarterback appeared to be holding his left leg. Of course, the team called off Tuesday's practice. Right after that, it was the last practice of the preseason when Bridgewater got hurt. And head coach Mike Zimmer briefly spoke with Bridgewater after the injury and told him, quote, hang in there. We're with him. We hope for the best, end quote. Now, players were visibly distraught as they exited the field. A lot of players kind of threw their helmets, just, freaked out. I have a feeling it was kind of like that Kevin Ware injury back in the college basketball tournament, if we remember that, with Louisville, where he came down, his leg literally popped out. I think it might, obviously his leg didn't go through his, at least I don't know if it did. I really don't know. I don't want to know, I don't think. But I think it was something like that where it was so ugly looking because everybody, how they're expressing how the players looked, saying how they threw the helmet. Some of them just fell to their knees and prayed and just rushed off the field. You think it's something like that, which sucks. Now, Vikings, again, like we said earlier in the show, you're looking at it, potential NFC North. I had the Packers winning it. Then I had the Vikings right at number 2 and making a playoff spot. And now, this takes all the way. There's no way Sean Hill is going to lead this Vikings team through a 16-game season. One, he just can't make it. He's 36 years old. He's barely played over the past 5 years. And then the last time he really played was Detroit Lions. And they sucked really bad when he was there. So you have that. You have Joel Stave, who is a rookie quarterback out of Wisconsin, who, remember, we kind of made fun of. I'm not a mean guy. I don't mean to make fun of people, but he threw an interception every college game I watched. Every single college game I watched, he threw a pick. At least one. It was just so bad. Like, how are you that guy? I've watched a ton of college football games. Multiple quarterbacks, they won't throw a pick in back-to-back games. Him, every game, at least one interception. At least. He even did it in the freaking Senior Bowl, and I tweeted right before it happened. I said, watch Joel Stave throw a pick. Next play, he threw it. None other to a Wisconsin teammate. He threw a pick. I thought that was pretty funny. Anyways, that's it. So possibly Mark Sanchez. There's Michael Vick, who's out there. Obviously, Johnny Manziel, just stop. Just stop with that. That's really it. And I mean, Bridgewater, he's entering his 3rd season. Some disregard him as a solid as a really good quarterback, really, and some say, well, he is a really good quarterback. And if you think about it, if you wanted a little bit of stats, I'm gonna give you some right here. Though he has the 3rd fewest average yards per pass in the NFL in the past 2 seasons, he has the best completion percentage ever by a quarterback under the age of 25. Ever, ladies and gentlemen. And we all talk about how great Russell Wilson is, and I believe Russell Wilson is an elite quarterback in the NFL. Teddy Bridgewater 64.9 completion percentage. Russell Wilson 64.1. I know that's barely. It's a 0.8 of a difference. Sometimes that's all that matters. That's what counts sometimes. So Teddy Bridgewater, I believe, was going to, contend for the NFC North championship against the Green Bay Packers. And possibly they could make a run. They have a good defense. Adrian Peterson, Jared McKinnon, some really solid wide receivers. And now Teddy B is gone. Mark Sanchez, Michael Vick. It's got to be one of those two. I would roll with Michael Vick. That's just, at least, he could get the job done and not fumble the ball. So let's move on to NFL news. And it's only just a couple as we'll wrap up the show here. Some good news. Again, remember, Hoopers. I'm looking to hire someone. If you're in the Central Texas area, email me, shortsportshow@gmail.com for someone that's interested at shortsportshow@gmail.com. I keep saying at right at the beginning. That's my fault. After 2 foot surgeries and 2 missed seasons, Philadelphia 76ers center Joel Embiid has said he finally feels 100%. Now, he was taken number 3 overall in the 2014 NBA draft and is yet to play an NBA game, missing the first 2 seasons in the league because of a fracture in his bone in the right foot. But he told Philly.com on Saturday that he's optimistic about after putting in a strong summer of workouts and scrimmages with teammates. So he should be good to go, which is good to see because I liked him when he was at Kansas. Ty Lawson, who was with the Denver Nuggets and the Houston Rockets, and also with the Indiana Pacers this past season, he has agreed to a 1-year deal with the Sacramento Kings. And some good news for Miami Heat fans. Forward Chris Bosh has increased his basketball workouts in hopes to returning to the court this season. Now, Bosh posted a series of workout videos on one of his social media accounts, and Monday he suggested he's ready to resume his basketball career after each of his past 2 seasons were cut short by blood clots. Now, at only 32 years old, he has 3 seasons and $76 million left on a 5-year deal he signed back in 2014 to stay with Miami. And he's been working on his conditioning, and he's preparing to be available for training camp, which opens on September 27th, and he's expected to be medically cleared to rejoin the team. And that's also a team that lost Dwayne Wade, Luol Deng, Joe Johnson. They're going to need him. They're going to need Chris Bosh. That's it for today's show, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, be sure to hit that like button. If you're brand new to the show, thank you so much for listening. And also, welcome. Be sure, if you're listening on iHeartRadio, iTunes, Spreaker.com, Stitcher Radio, SoundCloud, YouTube, wherever it might be sure to like it, share it, subscribe, rate it, view it, share it with your friends and family. And thank you guys so much for being part of the show. I will see you guys next Wednesday as we recap college football and also preview college football and then preview week 1 of the NFL season. Thank you guys so much. As always, God first, God bless. I will see you guys next week. I'm out. Peace.